Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we got to discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 31. 31, y'all. Family, fidelity, and the fish fries. Okay. So, yes, we have come to the end of the road. Um, and it's been a very long season. And for that, I have to give this a 9.9. I would give it a 10, but baby, I forgot what happened in most of the season. At the beginning, I almost forgot that there was a Sheree dating situation ship, allegedly. Now, we noticed that Sheree did not make any appearances in the second half of the season. I would have to assume that Martell maybe did not get on the A and B season starter package for the Rent a Housewife. I kid, I just jokes, allegedly. Allegedly, right? But where is Sheree? Sheree does come up in this episode at a very poignant moment. So we're going to talk about that when we get down to it, okay? And there's a couple of other reasons why I give this episode a 9.9. I thought it was a very good episode overall. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty with that and the Mel and Martel of it all, because that to me is the centerpiece of this episode. And we'll get to that right after we have a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Teemu. It's an online marketplace that offers the most competitively priced products in multiple categories. There's a site-wide sale with savings up to 90% off, free shipping, free returns for 90 days. So look at what I got. All right, so y'all know I love to travel, so I got this one-piece jewelry box organizer. I can organize all the stuff that I want to take with me on my trip, watches, rings, all that kind of stuff like that. I got this nice little water bottle because, you know, you want to stay hydrated when you're on the go. So I like to take this with me in my car. I got a travel pillow with a nice little hidden hoodie so I could hide my face while I'm on the plane. Y'all know about that, right? Because you don't want to see them. Like, they don't want to, you want to kind of hide your face when you're sleeping a little bit, you know. I got this thermal eye massager that is just like giving me all the good vibes while I'm relaxing. I also got an electric facial cleansing brush because y'all know we got to keep that face looking fresh. And I got a hair trimmer because, fellas, and maybe ladies, y'all know y'all need to get the nose hairs together. You know what I'm saying? And finally, I got this magic cleaning brush that is, let me tell you something. It is chef's kiss for cleaning the kitchen and keeping it nice and tidy. So listen, download the Teemu app through the link in the description of this video to get 100% coupon bundle, or search my code DKJ3326 to claim it.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge.
What is it?
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
And that is just where we are in the heat of this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We are indeed in the Twilight Zone with Martel doing his best gaslighting 101 course, okay? Baby, let me tell you something. This was so interesting. It was interesting. I'm literally salivating at the mouth, foaming at the mouth, if you will, at just how crazy this scene with Melody and Martel was. Now, of course, we are going to get to that. But first, let's talk about, why I rate this episode a 9.9 on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So I told you guys a little bit about how I felt about the long season. Now let's talk about the episode in general, right? For me, again, this is why the A and B seasons don't really do any favors to the story arc, because we finally get a sort of ending or a nail in the coffin on the Stormy family drama, okay? And to me, that happened so long ago. I'm just kind of like, Wait, I don't even remember. Was it this season? I don't know if I remember or not. Honestly, was it A or was it B? That's the part that's difficult about this thing, right? It's been so much time in betwixt that by the time we get to the reunion, we're kind of like, what? That happened? Oh, for real? I forgot about that. Also, again, to me, the best scene of this episode was the Melody and Martell situation of it all. We get essentially some bow tying with most of the main couples on this show. The scene at the end is where I take a little bit of some points off too, because I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like this scene was almost too good to be true. It was almost too good to be true. And I know I shouldn't complain about that because I was really rooting for Letitia in this scene. But a part of me was like, are they smiling and smirking as they filming this? So I don't know if it felt as real, but if it was real, as I hope it was, then it was good to me. Okay. But as I watched it several times, because I'm looking to see, why do I feel like she's smirking? Maybe she's smirking because she realized that she finally got Marceau by pulling a Marceau on Marceau. Let me know in the chatterization what your thoughts were. Let's go ahead and run down the episode, okay? Stormy and Courtney, we get some. I love when I see some displays of money, baby. And you riding around in your slingshot, baby. That tells me you got a coin somewhere, okay? And that's what I want to see on these type of shows. I want to see coin. I want to see what we can do, what we can be, what we can own. And just like that, Love and Marriage Huntsville delivers. Thank you, God, that Stormy is on this show because I honestly feel like I like to see the business. I mean, this is again, it's with most of the couples here that we can see a lot of this stuff. But I feel like it really be on display with Stormy and Courtney, but not in an ostentatious type of way. You know what I'm saying? Basically, we're back from Houston. I don't know how that happened. That was another thing. I felt like I was yanked out of Houston. Like last week, we was in the thick of a group therapy session, and now we back on the range where the deer and the antelope graze. We back. I mean, it was like, I mean, no foreplay. It was just like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and not in the way that Maurice would like it. You know what I'm saying? Not in that wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Well, maybe actually in that same type of wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of way that Maurice would like. But anyway, I digress. We're back from Houston. How we got back, I don't know. Anyway, who cares? We're moving right on along. So anyway, basically, Stormy is like, well, we had such a good ending on Houston. Did we? I don't know because I wasn't there. And we didn't see it. But she wants that to have a trickle-down effect with her family. So she invites, a good portion of the family. Courtney not going because Courtney is like, listen, girl, I'm gonna film with you when you really need me, but when there's some drama, count me out. And so she gets to going down to the Mississippi, okay, where the Bells reside. I'm assuming somewhere around there. And so she get to ride down there with Butter, okay. Now I don't know who Butter is. I don't know where Butter came from, but Butter is her cousin, okay. Now, I mean, I like that name, Butter. I mean, because it's making me feel like it's something good. Whenever you add butter to something, I mean, ain't it good? Don't it be good? And the more you add some butter to it, I feel like it just takes it over the top. You know what I mean? Throw some butter on on a baked potato. Throw some butter on a biscuit. You know what I'm saying? Throw some butter on a waffle. Then there you go. You got butter. So that's why she's taking him down to the Mississippi to make everything better. Okay, as good as they can be. So anyway, she get down to the fish fry. Lo and behold, Stormy don't know how to fry no fish, so somebody else got to do it. It's all good because it's gonna rain anyway, which she takes as a sign from the Lord above, okay? And so the Lord is blessing me, okay? But I don't know if the Lord blessed that situation the way she think he did. But anyway, I digress. We'll take a little bit of progress because this is what the issues boil down to me. I mean, to seem like it boils down to me with Stormy Mama and Aunt Lisa. Okay. Stormy Mama, it seems like now we're getting a slightly different perspective on the issues. I'm assuming Stormy Mama, okay, and I think Mama was there. That would be Stormy's mama. Okay, and is the caretaker of Mama, which is the grandma of Stormy, right? So it's Stormy's mama's mama. And so, being the caretaker, she needs Aunt Lisa, who she don't already get along with, to at least dedicate one weekend a month to come in to spend with Mama. Okay, with Mama. And Aunt Lisa's like, girl, I work. I'm the only one here working. I'm like, what? Ain't nobody else in the family got to work? Stormy, is you taking care of people like that? That's what. Yes. Okay, so anyway, Aunt Lisa's like, and when I get done working, I want to spend some time with my husband. Stormy mama like, I want to spend some time with mine too. Aunt Lisa like, don't he live there with you? And Stormy mama like, well, that ain't quality time because we gotta take care of somebody in the house. Okay, so long story short, okay, Aunt Lisa, well, Stormy mama tells Aunt Lisa she need her to spend one weekend a month. Just give her one weekend of her choosing per month to come and help take care of Mama. Aunt Lisa obliges. She will do that. She will give up her free time with her man and come spend some time with her mama, and all is well. Except during the group hug, Aunt Lisa ain't gonna give nobody no hug. Okay, not no person. And Storm is like, yes, God did it. I was like, what'd he do? Because they still not getting along. She don't want to touch nobody. She ain't touching and agreeing. She don't want to be around these people. She don't want to know them. She want to go back to work. Okay. So I mean, maybe Jesus fixed it. Yes, he will. Mm-hmm. Fix it, Jesus, fix it like you said you would. Speaking of fixing it, Jesus, I don't know who's gonna fix this situation for Martell, but it ain't gonna be Melody. So let's talk about Martell inviting Melody down to the cafe, okay, to have some hot tea. All right. Now, this scene is intriguing to me, and so as such, because as you guys know, I do believe in special effects. We're gonna have to get into we're gonna have to have a little special effect going on right here because I needed to let you guys see all of Melody's facial expressions as she maneuvered and bobbed and weaved her way through this labyrinth of gaslighting that Martell has laid out for her. Okay. Now, let's run down the scene in our anatomy of a scene style with your resident Sherlock homeboy. Okay, so Melody meets with him. She don't know why, okay, but hopefully it's not another gaslighting session. I hate to tell you. He got us some flowers, yes. And she's looking like, man, we divorced. It's a nice gesture, but it's inappropriate. Where aren't you dating Sheree? Is he? Was he ever? No, he's not. Okay. He tells us they are not dating. He's not dating. Okay. Melody's like, well, he says, I'm single and ready to mingle, which I feel like he was single all along. Anyway, Mel is like, well, I'm dating, so it's inappropriate. Get him to the kids. Okay. So then he brings up their back and forth into Houston, but he doesn't want to ruin their co-parenting that they got going on. And she's looking at him with the most massive side eye ever. Like, man, what is you talking about? Why am I here, Ike? So he said he talked to Chris and his voice get to trembling. And Chris told him, that in the relationship, he didn't feel protected, that Melody didn't feel protected. And, I just didn't know you didn't feel protected. Well, what you think you was doing, friend? Did you think you was protecting her? When you was making them babies, baby, okay. Okay, allegedly baby, just the baby, just the one, okay. So and he's sorry for that. Yes, Lord, he is sorry. um uh I'm sorry, this whole scene tickled me pink. Okay. Anyway, He wants her to let her guard down and that he would not do anything to bring harm to her anymore because, they see each other so often, okay? And they talk and they text. They see each other, okay? Now, I got to leave this up on the screen right here because I need you to understand how I was feeling. Not only was she feeling that way, I was feeling that way. And I know you was probably feeling that way too. So anyway, she get to giggling and telling him this is one of the most gaslighting experiences of her life. She says, first, they do not talk. It is particularly pertaining to the kids. And then when it becomes unnecessary, she does not even respond. And no, they are not in a good place. Okay. This had to be. I wonder if this was around the time where we learned about the revenge videotapes or whatever that was out there that she had told us, that the people had told us about. So I'm wondering because in last episode he mentioned about something about how she was trying to send him to jail or something like that or whatever like that. But in my thoughts, I'm like, well, when you're doing the revenge or when you're doing the revenge videotapes, that's probably what you're gonna get is some jail time. Allegedly, I don't know. This is all again hearsay of what we hear on the internet and what the people say. Um, so she says, when you had Miss Nell screaming and hollering and crying, and she's like, you're an agent of chaos. And all of this reaffirms, okay, what you were doing down to the Houston. It reconfirms that you ain't grown up, not a bit, friend. So Martell is like, well, it's my hope that we can stay in a place of peace. Houseway, where y'all been in peace at? Okay. Mel is like, we're not in a place of peace. And Martell is like, well, what would it take to get us to a place of peace? Okay. And Mel is like, it ain't gonna happen. And sips her Earl Grey, baby. Sips that Earl Grey. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Martell is like, well, I don't do anything towards you. Have I say what? Then we did. I know. I come here. Come here. Come here. Okay. Get out of my face with this mess. Anyway, he says, I've been waving the white flag. I've been waving the white flag of surrender. And Mel is like, you pretend to wave the white flags while you do other stuff behind the scenes. And your flags are red. I declare war, red flags, okay? In her confessional, she's like, this is typical. And all the stuff he's doing on social media that he's, doing and saying about her could change people's opinions about her by giving these false narratives. And Martell is like, well, we got all this stuff and we got to be around each other. And Mel is like, well, you should have thought of that before you had all these people attacking me. And now he's sorry for that. Mel is like, no, you're not. You're the battery in the back. A lot of the things that are said are coming from your mouth, which he vehemently denies. And Mel is like when you were calling me hoes and bees, okay? You remember that? He's like, I ain't doing ish. And she has to tell him he was just doing stuff 3 days ago down to the Houston, Texas with the folk, okay? How quickly the people forget. You know what I'm saying? How quickly they forget. Because at that point, she talks about how he was blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies about she was going to hotels and cheating on him. He get to stuttering. I do that. That's all, folks. He says, I didn't say that. She's like, yes, you did. Okay. And now he's like, well, I mean, if I said it, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. If I said it, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. If I said it, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Oh, God. And Mel is like, well, we know you was cheating. Okay. How about that? And he's like, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. No, you're not. Melody has to tell him, no, you're not sorry. Okay. He's like, if I knew what I did would destroy my family, I wouldn't have done. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Because here's the thing. It wasn't the onesie, the twosie. It was the affair of it all. Okay, so this ain't just something you fell into some poon. Okay, you fell into a cooter. If it seemed like you fell into a cooter and stayed there, okay, then upon getting caught, you went back to the cooter, fell in and stayed there, dug a hole, a crevice, packed a bag, and and built a house in the cooter. Okay, that's what it seemed like, right? Meanwhile, now he regrets it from the depths of his heart and his soul. He doesn't want them to be in a negative space. And Mel is like, you don't even affect me like that no more, man. He's like, but you won't forgive me. It shouldn't even be all this. And she's like, you don't get to tell me when I move past anything, man. You don't get to do that. You're not in charge of the girls, okay? You are not in charge of the girls. Martell thinks that she's being nitpicky and focusing on the past. And I'm like, you mean 3 days ago? That passed? She's like, well, why you got on that ring I gave you in 2008? He's like, why you got on that ring I gave you in 2010? Now, friend, if you know you didn't give her that ring, why is you lying on this camera? She's like, I bought this ring a year ago. The problem with him is that even in an instance where I feel like we don't really know who gave who the rings or whatnot, he is the less credible party here. Okay. So then to say that is just like, bro, like you don't what? So at that point, he's like, well, I guess you got the memo or whatever. And I'm like, what memo? What are you talking about? Anyway, Martell says he's manifesting with wearing this ring. And Mel is like, well, you need to manifest the new since being with me was so bad. And Martell is like, well, our marriage was very successful. Now, I know that ain't what you have been telling all the people because you was saying to everybody that she ain't want to she ain't want to give you no head, give you no head. She ain't want to give you that. That's what you was saying. Okay. You made it seem like you ain't get enough of it. Give me the head, give me the head. You ain't get enough of it. Okay. Anyway, then finally God has told Melody to go. I don't know why she stayed this long. To me, she stayed too long. To be honest with you. I guess God said go at this moment because she's like, I gotta go because I got a flight to catch. And he's like, well, why you gotta be like that? So this is very important. And I want, especially for a lot of you ladies out there, because I want you to understand if you've never seen Two Can Play That Game, this is where the game comes into play. As she's about to leave, and he realizes that the power dynamic lies with her, at that point in time, he decides that he is going to pull her back into an argument. Now, if we refer back to one of our favorite movies, Two Can Play That Game, then we will understand that this is a tactic used to regain the upper hand. Okay? It is. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do, think how you want to think, but that's the case. Okay? It's typical. And that's what he tries to do by pulling her into some type of argument. All right? He's like, well, why you got to be all like that? And she's like what? I'm telling the truth as she's like walking out the door, right? And then it's like you could just see when he like as soon because I think what he wanted was like the last word or some type of thing, something like that. And she's like exiting out the door, and I think that he feels victorious in the fact that he got to pull her in some type of way. But for her, I kind of feel like she's just like, I do think she stayed too long. I'm not gonna hold y'all on that one. But I also feel like I don't think she cares. I think he still cares, and I don't think she does. So I feel like this is where Two can play that game. It's like, bro, I think you're the only one playing. So anyway, that's that. All right. I did need visuals for that because it was the only way I could explain it and make you all understand what I was feeling as I was watching it. And because I know 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the same way a lot of y'all was thinking when y'all watched this scene. A mess. Okay. So anyway, Kimmi is planning a date night. for Maurice. She takes him to the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Actually, it was not that. I think it was called, what was it called? I don't know. Anyway, she's looking sexy. I'm feeling sexy. She wants to thank him because she know he did not sign up for to be with somebody that would eventually have cancer. But God, I mean, when you do the marriage vows, it's through sickness and in health, for better and for worse. So I mean, he did what he's supposed to, and he lets her know that he's inspired by her, and we learned that he was there for her during all of her treatments every day. And as she's been trying to get this libido popping again, I feel so bad that she feels so pressured in this situation that it, like, she even has to continue to try to do all these things, when she should really be focusing on letting her body just heal naturally. And yeah, if you want to take a sexy photo, absolutely do that. But it shouldn't be as a result of him nagging you about getting some cooter. You got a hand for a reason. There's 5 of them right here. Meanwhile, so she ended up doing the boudoir shoot, and she looks very, very good. And she says she did it because if she wanted to see herself from the outside in, so like somebody looking at her, she would be looking at herself, so she can realize that she's beautiful, she's sexy, she's got all the things. And I just, I hate that she's had to go through this to get to this place. But my thought is, as long as she feels sexy and happy, I'm cool with it. But I still think he has a long way to go and things to learn. However, he did something for her too. And what he decided to do was etch a sketch some abs on his belly. Okay, etch a sketch. And by etch a sketch, okay, let me give you guys a demonstration of the etch a sketch. Okay. Now, I think the last time we used this board, okay, we were talking about Robin. All right. But we're no longer talking about Robin. Okay. So bye, Robin. You got to go. All right. Okay. Robin is gone. Okay. And as such, in Robin's place, we have Maurice. Okay. Okay, so Maurice, the man, okay? And so what Maurice has chosen to do, okay, for those, and I know it's light, okay, but we are working with what we got, okay? Maurice has chosen to add some abs here. Okay? Non-surgical belly button, okay? Just to give you guys okay, the pants right here, okay? So, in chest. All right, so Maurice has chosen to give himself some of these, okay? So now he too can be sexy for Kimmi, all right? So if you are out there struggling, okay, with your abs, people, all right? If you're out there struggling, there's no need for the gym. Just grab yourself a magic marker, slap something on there. You know what I'm saying? While she's out here running around doing photo shoots, okay, and trying to do everything in her power to try to get her libido back, he does, just the simple things. He decides that he's going to get sexy too. And he's going to go draw some abs on. My thought is this, sir, if you're going to be making her, if you're going to be climbing up on top of her like Master, okay, like Mr., okay, Color Purple reference. If you're going to be doing all of that, then, brother, you need to be in the gym 2 hours a day, okay? Because if she got to jump through hoops and hurdles for you, then you need to start jumping through hoops and hurdles for her. And by hoops and hurdles, I mean at the gym. Now, this is not a knock on Maurice physically, not at all. This has nothing to do with him and how he looks at present. This has to do with the efforts that he is requiring this woman to take, the sacrifices that he is requiring this woman to make to please him. So my thought is, if you want her to do all of these things and it's all in her mind, then why don't you start doing some things to make her mind feel sexier about you? Okay, why don't you start struggling and striving and things like that? You taking the easy way out and drawing some abs on yourself. What you need to be doing is, as hard as you making her work, you need to be working equally as hard. And that is my point. Anyway, she also has gone through the trouble of getting a teddy for him to again to please Mr. Okay. The bottom line for me is, whatever Kimmi needs to do to make herself feel sexy, do it. Do it, Kimmi. Do it, babe. Do it. Okay. But do it for you. And Maurice, you need to do a better job of letting her know how sexy she is. And why don't you do something to make yourself sexy for her, so that it can be it's a concerted effort that both parties are making to do whatever it takes, and whatever those things may be, you need to be willing to do them. Because I guarantee you, the same things that get you hyped and ornery, they may not be the same things that get her hyped and ornery. Why don't you take a little time to figure out what those things might be? Now, as we head to another construction site, because Lord knows this wouldn't be Love and Marriage Huntsville without a construction site. We are now in the construction zone that is the Scott home. Okay. Now, the kitchen looks good. So whatever Maurice been doing in his spare time, I mean, it looks great. But we learned that there are projects upon projects upon projects upon projects upon projects upon projects upon projects that needs to be done. Okay. That needs to be done. Now, all of these things that need to be done, Letitia not getting her office done, and she needs her office done ASAP. Okay. But he's focused on everything else. And she's like, well, we got teams for that. Whoo-wee. Let me tell you something. There's a smackdown that he gives her. Okay. When she tells him they got teams that can help them run their businesses, and he tells her he's not on autopilot, and any business that runs itself into the ground. And she should know, because of the whole Canvas beauty thing. I said, I felt that one. I felt like somebody had slapped me. Okay. I was like, girl, you should have left right when he said that. You should have left. You should have been walked out the room. Okay, I would have been done with the scene. As Tamar said on the Braxton Family Values, this is my last scene and season. Okay, Marceau does a bunch of his jokey things, and she's not in the mood for it. But also, she is like, we need to talk about this Houston thing and this you being upset and carrying on about this baby, okay, that I'm not pregnant with, okay. And so she's like, her feelings were hurt. He's like, my feelings were hurt. I feel like you're gaslighting me right now. And she's like, well, without trust, we have nothing. And I love that she is using his words against him, okay. I love it. I'm just like, yes. I'm like, I'm just eating it up. I'm just eating it up like some chocolates out of a box. And so he asked her, well, have you ever stepped out on me? And Letitia says his famous words, I cannot answer that question for you. Baby, when I tell you, I was screaming at the television screen, okay? Screaming at the television screen. Finally, she is pulling the Marceau on Marcel. Oh yes, and it is so delicious. He looking real stuck, telling her it might be a bad decision not to answer that question. And Letitia's not gonna do this with him. You know, she just wants to know, well, how are we gonna move forward? Marcel tells her, well, you set the rules, so we'll see how this game goes. And Letitia's like, well, okay then, let's play. Boom! I was like, yes. Now, see, again, I can't tell if she was smirking because she knew she had one up on him or if the scene wasn't real, okay? And sometimes I felt like because it was so good, I was like, it ain't no way this can be real. I was like, this is just like, it's like a good old 360-degree turn, baby, or is it a 180? Which is it? I don't know. I'm hype. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, that kitchen does look nice though. That kitchen does in fact look nice. Listen, y'all, that has been this season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and of course, the trailer. The trailer for the reunion. Okay. That reunion, baby, I think it's gonna give. I think it's gonna give. Now, look, for those of you guys who are interested in the Teemu, okay, make sure you guys download the Teemu app to get a $100 coupon bundle for free, okay? Use the link in the description of this video. Search my code DKJ3326 to get a $100 coupon bundle and check out some of the items that I picked out in the description of this video. With that being said, I will, of course, catch you guys in the next one.